Hey guys, welcome back to Obsessed with Videos for another update. This time it's a multimedia update as I've got 2 cinema tickets, 3 OWV cinema posters and 3 Blu-Rays. So let's get started with the cinema tickets, in which the first one is Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere. And on the subject of cinema tickets, almost all of us have pretty much recovered from COVID, from what I gather. Like, you might remember in the last update I mentioned that I was in quarantine because most of my family had COVID, and then my dad tested positive, and since then my dad tested positive for it, but now the disease for him is declining a bit. He's getting better from what I've seen, so things are getting better again in this household. But now back onto the cinema tickets, which they've returned now, and Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere being the first film that I've seen at the cinema since I had COVID. No, I didn't test positive for COVID. I tell a lie there, sorry. Since I was in quarantine for about a week or two in October. So, Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere, which is rated 12A. I saw this at Cineworld in Wakefield on October 28th, 2025. So it was my first film out of the October 2025 quarantine for me, which you might remember me talking about in the last update. And I saw it at 1 PM on that date. And I was in Screen 1, Row J and Seat 8. The other cinema ticket that I've got in this update is Good Fortune, which is a View ticket. The film is rated 15. I saw this at View in Castleford on October 29th, 2025 at 15:35 or 3:35 PM, and I was in Screen 2, Row F and Seat 3. Now on to the 3 OWV cinema posters, which all 3 have something in common, as I've been doing the posters for the 3 remaining DreamWorks Animation films that have been released to date. Like, until 2026, when Forgotten Island comes out, and in 2027 when films like Shrek 5 and live action How to Train Your Dragon 2 come out. So, with the remaining DreamWorks films of this year, like, in an update I did back in either August or September, I did the poster for Dogman. But now I've done the poster for the other 3 DreamWorks animation films that have come out this year. In which the first one in this update is The Bad Guys 2, which is rated PG. Its original release year was 2025. Its UK theatrical release date was July 25th, 2025. Coming out the same week as The Fantastic Four First Steps, although that one came out a day earlier on July 24th, 2025. And its UK theatrical distributor is Universal Pictures. And it was released by Universal Pictures and DreamWorks Animation. Next one is the live-action How to Train Your Dragon. The Legend is Real. Rated PG. Its original release year was 2025. Its UK theatrical release date was June 9th, 2025. And its UK theatrical distributor is Universal Pictures. And also, this is the only DreamWorks animation film that I've seen at the cinema this year. And so far, in general. Because with Gabby's Dollhouse, I'm probably not going to... I have no plans to see that, at least at the cinema. But I don't know if I have any plans to watch it at all, but we'll see. But at least at the cinema, I'm not intending to watch it. And even though The Bad Guys 2, I think, is still on at View in Castleford, with everything else that's coming out, and also the fact that it's now available on Blu-ray, and I might get it on home media at a later point, I'm probably going to pass on that one on the big screen. But I'm hoping to return to seeing DreamWorks animation films at the cinema, like, next year, hopefully with Forgotten Island, and in 2027, of course, hopefully with live-action How to Train Your Dragon 2, and also Shrek 5 as well. Looking forward to that one, particularly. as I was saying, with live action How to Train Your Dragon, it was rated PG. Its original release year was 2025. Its UK theatrical release date was June 9th, 2025. And its UK theatrical distributor was Universal Pictures. And it was released by Universal Pictures, DreamWorks Animation, and Mark Platt Productions. This is also the first time that DreamWorks Animation has created a live-action film without counting the filmed version of the live musical production of The Prince of Egypt in 2023. This is the first time that they've made a proper theatrical live-action feature film that is not a recorded live performance or anything. And the final poster in this update, and the most recent DreamWorks Animation film to be released to date, and speaking of the Gabby's Dollhouse movie, that's exactly the poster that is here for Gabby's Dollhouse the movie. Hold on tight. And speaking of live-action DreamWorks Animation, this one is also a live-action one, but a live-action animation hybrid. Presumably the first time that DreamWorks Animation has done one of those. Rated U. Its original release year was 2025. Its UK theatrical release date was October 16th, 2025. So it came out on the same week as films like Roofman, Good Fortune, After the Hunt, and The Black Phone. And the UK theatrical distributor for Gabby's Dollhouse the movie is Universal Pictures, who also released The Black Phone 2 that same week. So it's almost like they released two films that week pretty much for different and probably opposite audiences. Like, you have a preschool-oriented animated live-action animation hybrid kids film with Gabby's Dollhouse the movie, and you have a horror film from Blumhouse with Black Phone 2. And with Gabby's Dollhouse the movie, it was released by Universal Pictures and DreamWorks Animation. And now on to the 3 Blu-rays that I've got in this update, and the first one is Pearl, starring Mia Goth and directed by Ty West. A new horror icon, 5 stars according to The Independent. The extraordinary origin story. Emphasizing the X there because this is part of the X trilogy. Anyway, this is a release from Universal Pictures Home Entertainment from 2023. The film was originally released in America, I think, in September 2022, but it didn't receive a theatrical release in the UK until March of 2023, and later a Blu-ray release in the UK in June 2023. So this was a film that was released internationally by Universal Pictures, but it's produced and also distributed in America by A24. And this is distributed by Warner Brothers Home Entertainment. And there's the disc itself. And speaking of films in the X trilogy, there's also the next one is Maxine, or Matt X, or Matt Triple X Een. Emphasizing the 3 X's because it's the third and final film in the X trilogy. Hollywood is a Killer, from Ty West, director of X and Pearl. This is also a release from Universal Pictures, distributed by Warner Brothers Home Entertainment, but this time it was from last year in 2024. And this film was released internationally by Universal Pictures and Focus Features this time as well. And it was produced and distributed in America by A24. And it was also produced by Motel Mojave, or Motel Mojave, don't know how to pronounce it, and Access Entertainment, who have co-financed a few of A24's recent films. Like, they also did The Zone of Interest, The Iron Claw, Beau is Afraid, and they also co-financed, I think, Materialists and Eddington, to name a few, and also, of course, Maxine. This one's rated 18, unlike Pearl, which is the only film in the X trilogy to be rated 15, since both X and Maxine are both 18 rated. And with that said, in terms of the trilogy's UK distributors for each film, both Pearl and Maxine were distributed by Universal, but X is the only one not to, since it was released by Entertainment Film Distributors through their partnership that they have, through their distribution partnership with A24, which is similar to the partnership that Entertainment Film had with New Line Cinema and the one that they had with the Weinstein Company as well. And there's the disc itself. And the final Blu-ray in this update, and the final thing to show in general in this update, is Scream 4, or Scree, which is Scream 4, or as it says in the title, Screeform. Screeforum. Okay. With David Arquette, Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, Emma Roberts, and Hayden Panettiere. New decade, new rules. This is the only Scream film to be rated 15 in the UK, since all of the others are rated 18 so far. And we'll have to see what rating Scream 7 gets when that comes out in February of 2026, so February next year. But given how all of the others are rated 18, I really wouldn't be surprised if it gets an 18 rating. It's almost guaranteed that it'll get an 18 rating, I think. This is a release also from Entertainment in Video. And speaking of Weinstein Company, this is one of the films that they distributed through them, although Weinstein released it under the Dimension Films label, which is the one that they mainly used for like genre films such as horror films. And that was the same genre label that they used when they were at Miramax through Disney, where they released the original 3 Scream films. Also, with this film still being owned by Entertainment Film Distributors in the UK, this is the only one to not be owned by Paramount, either in the UK or pretty much worldwide, because with Scream 4 being a Weinstein Company and being a film that was released under the Weinstein Company, it has various owners. In the UK, it's owned by Entertainment Film Distributors, and in America, it's owned by Lionsgate through their ownership of the Weinstein Company's catalogue, and also with Home Media, their ownership of the Anchor Bay catalogue, or at least the original Anchor Bay catalogue, which included the Home Media rights to the Weinstein Company films. And there's the disc itself. And with me now having Scream 4, that means I've also got all the Scream films on Blu-ray, from the most recent one with Scream 6, which was released in 2023, and I got it in a box set earlier this year with Scream 5. And I'll probably get Scream 7 when it comes out on Home Media sometime in 2026. And with all that said and done, that concludes this update, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon, and see you later.